Hey guys, it's me, Lord of Time 23, and I am here with our 7th episode in my Sims 4 tutorial series. And for this episode, we are going to be focusing on platforms. So I figured if you guys have been watching my previous videos, the other tutorial videos, you guys are more comfortable with building now. So now I'm going to show you more of the platform options. I didn't want to jump into it right away just because platforms can be a little bit complicated, but we're going to get into it now, and I'll just kind of show you basically how they work because there are some restrictions when building and using platforms. So first I'm just going to show you the different pre-made options we have here. So we have the diagonal one, the octennial one, the square one, the angled one. So you can use this to put on edges, because if I am pulling this to stretch it, you aren't going to be able to get that angle edge without this. So you're more using these just for edging. You can start with an L-shaped one, which once again is more convenient for movement if you're trying to get it into certain spots. And then lastly, we have these 3 down here that are rounded. So I'm going to dive into these a little bit more because they are a bit different. So we have a small one here, a medium-sized one, and a large one. The nice thing about these two, let's say if you did want to have like a perfect circle, you can use these to copy and move here. And sorry, not a perfect circle, more of a square, an edged square there. But if you wanted to have that, then you can just put them together to make it. Or you could, have it where it's half rounded and the back half of it is squared off. But you can use these to add together on any of them, not just the round ones, and they'll meld together automatically. So that's kind of a handy little thing to do, especially using these if you're trying to make, let's say, a gazebo base or something. But they do give you the 3 different sizes for a reason. So I'm just going to get rid of this one and put this back. So you can see that the degree of the angle is a little bit different on each one. These two actually are fairly similar. It more just adds the extra on the edges of it. But this one is completely rounded. And you can see when I hover over it that the rounded part will actually be glowing. So on all of them, they are like that. And the reason it's like that is because that is the edge that you can actually add fences onto it, or walls even if you wanted to. So I'll just show you quickly for an example. You can put it right on the edge there. So I would use these a lot for at least outdoors for doing kind of front or back porches, especially if you're kind of doing a Victorian build. Then you might want to have this on the edges of it just so that, I don't know, it gives it more of a Victorian vibe kind of thing. But you can also do that with all of the edges. If you just click on the blue part, you can add fence, half wall, or full wall. And you can pick whatever one you wanted after that and highlight over, or just highlight over the blue part yourself, and your piece of fence will go there. The only downside I'm going to say about these rounded ones is if I were to take this one for an example and place it, I don't think I can because there's fences there. Let's say we'll place it on top of this one. You can see that the rounded part actually doesn't connect to the other pieces like any of these flat edged ones would, because even the angled part, if I were to place it on this, it will still connect to it. It's a little odd shape for something to build, but it will still connect to it. With the rounded ones, wherever this outlined part is, if you try to put any other piece of platform, foundation, you'll always get this gap on the edge of it. It does not connect because this piece is meant to keep its rounded shape. So that can be the only downfall when you're building, because even if I were to have this kind of on foundation, we'll just raise it a little bit so you can see, it still has that gap in it no matter what you do, and you can't get around it with any of the cheats, at least that I have found. There might be ways to get around it with some of the mods and stuff out there, or if you do by chance know a way to get around it, then leave a comment down below. It might be something that I'm unaware of, but as far as I know, anything that has this highlighted spot for the round platform, you are not able to meld with anything else. So just try to avoid that. That's pretty much what I do. I find ways around it. The next thing I'm going to go over is the panel that you've seen before with the roofing and the walls. Like I said before, the wall height, moving this room in a sense, rotating it, copying it so you can have another one. We are going to be focusing on these. I did kind of show you them quickly when I was doing my roofing video, just because I quickly showed you how to do flat roofs. I'm going to go over that again in this though, because there are some other things you can use this for. So what these arrows are for, you can see right now that the platform itself is just one step up from the ground. So your Sims are actually able to walk from the ground onto this without having to put stairs or anything here. But if I were to click it and click up on this arrow, you can see that the platform itself is actually moving up. And if I were to put anything like this with it, it's going to cut into it and leave like a second platform step down. Now this is 2 steps, you can tell by how thick it is, so I would have to move this one up 1 to make that 1 step, and then if I wanted to have another piece coming down to the bottom to step on, you could do that. So your Sims can actually walk down this now, so you can kind of make like cute staircases and stuff leading up to your builds, especially if you're doing like a castle build or more of a modern build where you kind of want that big step, or even on community lots, a lot of those type of buildings will have, you know, the wider staircases for people to walk up, and you can move these up to 1 square. It won't let me do it because that's a rounded piece, but you can move these up to 1 square, so you can literally have it one like square on the grid to 1 to 1 to 1 going up, or you can have it spaced out where it's, you know, 3 whatever. But you can use this method to actually make a staircase going up to anything. But just remember, if you do want your Sims to be able to walk up it, it is going to have to be just 1 step. However, you are able to attach ladders to platforms too. So if you didn't want it to just be the 1 step, you can't even add it on 1 step if you really wanted to, but you don't need to. If you did want it to be more than 1 step, you can always put this on the edge of one of these. And now you actually have stairs going up to that one part. So you don't have to have the whole thing accessible by any means, but if you are going to have it up more than 1 square, then you do need to have a staircase there. And now we're going to go the opposite way on that arrow chart. So I'm just going to grab a new piece of platform because I've kind of mangled that one. Make it a little bit bigger. Okay, so I showed you what the up one did. You can actually go all the way up to the max room height. So you can see this white bar on the outside that's indicating how high this platform can actually go. The reason they have it set like that is basically you're not going to go past any of your pre-existing walls that you already have on the lot. But if you did need this to be higher, you could make your wall height higher. And you can see when I click this button, it does raise the limit on the platform itself, and you can continue to move it up. I don't think you'll use that a ton, just because why do you really want a platform that high? But even at that height, you can still add the staircase onto it, and it's still functionable for your Sims to go up there. So back at our 1 step height here, I'm now going to go over our down option, and yes, you can go down even on flat ground. So if I click it once, you can see that we're completely flat to the ground. So that's how these foundations will start as well. But the foundations, you're moving this way, and it will move the whole lot, this bar. Or you can do this, and it looks similar to the platforms, but they are different. They will move a little bit differently too. But so for the platforms, we have it flat. If I keep going down, you can see that it actually goes into the ground. And same thing, you can go all the way down to the max wall height. So imagine if you had a basement down there, it's not going to go any lower than whatever you have your wall height set to. But the cool thing about this is you can actually add stairs onto the edge of it. And you can make this, I've made it into a Zen garden before, or you can do this in your backyard to kind of have like a fire pit down here. You are able to as well, say if you had a porch with a hot tub or something like that on it. I'll just place a foundation quickly to show you. If I were to do this and then grab a platform, oh, I should raise it first. So we have foundation, and grab a platform here and place it in the center. I can actually click on this platform and move downwards. So say if it was bigger, obviously, this would be kind of where your fire pit was. Maybe you have some couches, decor, things like that on the outside, a barbecue on the side. So you can kind of do some cool things with backyards to actually add these in. The cool thing about this too, because I don't think I showed it with the foundation thing, if you do have a chunk of foundation like this, I'm just going to get rid of the platform and fill this in quickly. If you do have the foundation like this, you are still able to place the pool tool on it, and you can actually have a pool in the middle of it. But with the platforms, if I were to just, I'll raise this quickly to show you. If I were to try to put a pool in the center of this, it doesn't let you do it because platforms and foundations are different things, like I was saying before. Platforms are more used just for raising and lowering the floor, whereas foundations can be built into, they can be manipulated a little bit more. So that's why you want to separate these things when you're building, because they are slightly different. So just get rid of that quickly. So now I'm going to show you using the platforms inside a little bit more, because sometimes when you are placing them, I find that the walls can be a little bit difficult or things might not work out the way that you planned them originally. So I'm just going to build a big old square here, and I am going to split it up into, I don't know, a couple rooms, I guess. Put another little one there. Okay, so imagine this was your house. I know it's ginormous, but we're just using it for showing you sake. So if you did want to have, let's say this was your kitchen and you wanted to have it raised, you wouldn't necessarily have to keep these walls here. I'm just saying put them there for while you're building the platforms, because it will make your life a lot easier. So you have two options of what you can do here. You can just take one of the platforms and place it in the middle of a room, and you can see that it is raised there. However, if I were to slide this right up to a wall, you can see that your wall is actually going to disappear because the edge of this platform didn't start with a wall. Not to say that you aren't able to, oops, click my walls, build a wall on it, and it will match the height and everything. But then if I'm going to keep moving all these edges, you're going to keep deleting walls, and it's really frustrating to do it that way. So the other way that you can do it is by clicking on a room, like I've said before, and you can actually just go to these options here and it will automatically just make it a platform in that room. So I could bring it technically all the way up to the wall. I wouldn't, because you can't access it. There is a ceiling up there. But if I just wanted to do it that way, that's why I built the walls originally. I'm just going to lower it down to 1. There we go. So say if I had the one there, because this is going to be my kitchen where I wanted it to be a little bit raised, I can actually go in afterwards with my wall tool, and holding control, I'm going to drag along the edge and it will actually get rid of the wall for me. So holding control, if I have a wall built here where I'm not holding any buttons, I'm going to hold control now and drag it along. Oops, sorry, mouse pad slipped, and it will delete the wall for me, but the platform will stay there. So I find just having the room pre-built first and then raising, lowering the floor and just deleting the walls afterwards is easier, because otherwise, like I said, if you just move this over, it's going to delete anything that turned yellow or the edge of it anyways. And it's just annoying to build that way. So I would recommend getting your room shapes first and then raising the platform in the room and then just deleting whatever exterior walls you didn't want. If you did want to keep this exterior wall, that's no problem too. But you have to remember that your Sims are still going to need a way to get down. So if I go to doors, one of the open ones here, here your Sim will actually still be able to step down here without any issue. It won't be a problem for them at all. But if I did have it one higher, then your Sim isn't going to be able to step down on that double part. So you can either do what I showed you out here by adding just one strip and making it look like an extra step kind of going down. I'll show you quickly. Which once again will be tedious just because you're going to have to go up to this wall. It's going to delete on you. And you can't just add the piece. It's not that big of a deal. I don't know. I just find it a little more frustrating. But then bam. Oh, I actually deleted the wall over here. Now, if I move my walls up, you can see that it's kind of a step going up to the doorway, and this is still totally functional. Your Sim can walk down that. If you didn't want to do it this way, though, just because it might be too bulky or you want to use this space for something else, you can actually grab the same doorway that you would have taken before, and I'm just going to put the walls back down again, and you can go to your stairs and either have it straight off like this. Just kind of, I'll move the door back over, but just kind of slide it over. Oops. Hitting all the wrong buttons here. There we go. So you can attach the stairs there as well. I guess it is easier to move the door first, maybe add it in afterwards. Not sure if I have my BB Move objects activated or not, but you can have it this way as well. So it just depends what kind of look that you want to go for, or you can just leave the room simply at the one level. I know the door is deleted again, but you can just leave it simply at the same level as this one here, and then that way you don't even have to worry about stairs or putting a second panel in for them to step down. They can just step down from one height. That's no big deal at all. So that's kind of using the platforms with the walls, because like I said, it can just be a hassle if you're trying to build things, not even thinking. You pull a platform all the way to the edge and then a bunch of your walls delete, or say if those walls had pictures on them or something, it can just be a little bit frustrating. So I would definitely recommend doing this room trick where you raise what you want to raise and then work from there. You're still going to have to play around with it. A lot of it is pretty finicky with the platforms too, but for the most part, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. Once you understand, placing them is going to affect certain spots. So like if I were to place this here, anything that's yellow is going to disappear from the platform. So even though I moved this over here, that wall was attached to it, so it came with it because it is technically its own room. Oh, see, the walls actually stayed there that time. The next thing I'm going to show you, if you didn't want these touching the walls, let's say, just grab another platform here. I know this is pretty big if you were making a bathroom, but I've used this trick a few times too. You can just place it in the middle of the room. Say if you had a nice big square room here. You could actually have it just as a square in the room itself, and if I'm doing this, I would normally just leave it once again one level, just easier to step up, and then you can either have this raised part be your dining area, or if this was smaller, once again I know it's a big room, but I will actually do with my bathrooms, I'll take some of these really nice tubs that come in the packs, and I'll kind of make a platform and place this in the middle of it, so it's like a raised bathtub in your bathroom, and then you can decorate around the edges of it with I don't know, different plants or some of the towel options, and lighting, or you can put some candles around here or something, but it just kind of separates the bathtub from the rest of it. And if I were to pick this up once again, and if I wanted it right up on the wall, you're just going to have to deal with rebuilding your wall there again, which isn't a huge deal by any means, especially if you've already got this designed and things placed on it the way that you like it. Just quickly move it over there. The next thing I'm going to show you quick with platforms, because I always run into this problem when I'm doing this tub trick actually. If you are painting the floors, so let's just, I don't know, pick a random wood, I guess. If I'm painting the floors, then you can do this as well, but you can see the edge here is still gray, just like the platform originally was. So normally with our foundation, like I showed you in previous videos, you can go here and these are all your foundation swatches. However, platforms are different. Not all of these are going to work on here. These are more built to be put on foundations, not on platforms. So if I go over to our L option again, the wall and the floor, you can see our different side options here. One of them is platform trims. So when I click this, I know a lot of them look similar to the foundation, but they are used a little bit differently. But you can actually put these on the edges of your platforms to either change the color, give it stone. A lot of these ones you can tell have the lip on the top. They'll give it like a lip around the edge of it. But there are flat ones here, like these three, that you can actually put on, and it still stays flat to the platform like it originally was, but you can change the color of it so it's not so obvious. So I don't know, let's say we do a rust to match the tub there or something like that. And then if you wanted to add an extra twist onto it, you can go to your decorations and rugs. And in here, if I were to grab a rug and place it, that one's way too small to show this. Place it, oh, I'm going to turn my BB Move objects on. There we go. So if I were to move it around, you can see when I'm placing it on the floor here, it does go on the floor normally, but if I'm underneath of it, you'll see that it also starts to transfer onto the platform. So if you did want to put like a rug under this tub just to make it look a little homier, you are able to do it, but I would recommend Like if I were to put this big one, for an example, where it's bigger than the platform, it's not going to go on top of that. But if you did want it just on top, you can grab one of these like square ones or something, make it maybe bigger with our little side square. So that one's too long, so that's not going to work. Maybe we can make this one a little smaller. No, because it's naturally bigger. Oh, I know why it's not working. Duh, it's because I have the bathtub there. So if I put this now here, you can see that it will still hang off the edge all the way. You can't put it all the way on for some reason, which is frustrating. But I think I might be able to do that. Oh, maybe not because I moved with it. Oh, there we go. It's just a little too small for it. So it will follow the green line even with VB Move Objects on. And then you can actually make it so that you have a little rug underneath of it. And if I did want it to be one smaller, like I was originally trying to do, I can do that. So now it fits it. You will be able to see a little bit of it cutting through the platform at certain angles, like right there. But I mean, if you're not really looking for it, you're not really going to notice it, especially if you have kind of plants or towels or something along the edges of that. So yeah, that's another thing that I'll use the platforms for a lot. The other thing that I might use them for, if I were to have, once again, I'm going to just cut off this room to give you guys an example of this. So this room, beside this room here, if I wanted to raise this so I had a significant difference in the size here because I obviously wanted to use stairs or something, I would just make this higher. Once again, using my... I wouldn't use the delete tool because if you start using the delete tool, anything that's yellow will delete. So stuff that you didn't intend to delete will start deleting all of a sudden, which we obviously don't want. So if you're just trying to get rid of one wall, do your regular wall tool, start as if you were building it, hold control and pull, and it will delete it for you. So you can see that we have this gap here. Now getting back into the trims, obviously I'm not going to want, especially for the inside of my house, some sort of brick or something here, like an outdoorsy kind of trim. However, you are not able to use the wallpapers on this. It has to be the platform trims, unfortunately. So what I'll usually do is I'll find one that looks kind of homey, I guess. Like this one's wood, or these ones are just kind of flat colors, which are always good. Maybe I'll just kind of grab a brown one for now to show you. So if we had like our edging like that, or maybe even like this one's cute too, it looks a little more homey. And then when I go to our wallpapers, you're going to want to try to find something that kind of matches your platform, or vice versa. If you already have your walls down, you're going to want to find a trim that matches whatever wall you put there. But unfortunately, you aren't able to take these and color the platform edges. These are only used for the walls. It is kind of a bummer, just it makes things a little bit more of a pain, but you just got to kind of play with them and find some that match. But the nice thing about this is now you can actually have on one floor 2 different layers here. So your Sims are still able to go up here, no problem. I think they can, there'd be a certain point where they wouldn't be able to walk up here, obviously, just because you'll run out of space for your Sims to walk. But you can do it like, I think pretty much halfway up the wall. I could be wrong. Maybe it's a little bit lower than that. But this height would be fine for it. And then all I would do is, like I showed you over here, just add these stairs either to the edge like this, so you'll have that landing at the top, and you can put some cute railings down there, especially if you're trying to make it look more like a loft, or you can do it right along the wall, and you can have it actually come right up again, so there's no landing, it just goes right up to the top of it. And this is one of the staircases that does have the wall coloring there, so if I just added that underneath, if I had my walls up, you would see it. So then that way you can kind of have like 2 platform houses instead of just having a slight raised kitchen or something like that. I'll use this if I'm doing a lot of my tiny homes, actually, just because I like making them into cute little loft homes. I do have a few in my gallery if you want to check those out. You can use whatever for inspiration, but I do like doing this trick for loft homes. I just think it's really fun, and the loft homes are really fun to make. So yeah, that's pretty much it for my little, I know I made a complete mess over here of all these walls, but that's pretty much it for my little interior platform tutorial part to show you. So the last thing I'm going to show you, since I believe, yes, we do have a roof kind of anyways, is using the platforms for a roof instead of having to use some of these options. Game's lagging a little bit there. So with these options, obviously they look like regular roofs, but if you're making a community lot, or even a lot of modern builds do have a lot of parts of the house that are flat roofs. A lot of them for modern builds, you will use the angled roof on one side, let's say, and then a flat roof on the other, little things like that. But I usually use them for like community lots or public lots, just because a lot of public lots that we would go to in real life do have flat roofs. So I did show this in one of my previous videos, but I'm just going to go over it again quickly. So we're going to grab our platform here, put it right on top. I know those gaps are there, but we're just going to go over them. I'm pretty sure they fill in automatically anyways. So now we have our platform on top here. If I'm doing for definitely more of a commercial look, I would make this go up maybe 3 or 4 spots just to kind of give it that nice gap at the top. So as you can see, there's that lip there, and you could either just leave it the concrete, or you could use the trim platform, or sorry, not trim platforms, the platform trims on the top here too, to make it look more like a commercial building. Or I think there's some gray ones and stuff in here too to kind of give it a darker concrete look. And then you can paint your walls whatever color you'd want, obviously. Or what you can do with these flat roofs is once you have your platform down, you can actually come over here to your half walls. And the half walls are 1 square, 2 square, 3 square, so on and so forth. So I know I clicked this up 3 times, so I'm going to click number 3, and 3 or 4 if you wanted to have that lip on the top of it. We'll do it all the way around. There we go. So this is number 4, so 1 higher than how many we clicked the platform up. The reason I like to do this, because one, I think you should definitely have a lip, because most commercial buildings will. If you didn't want to have the lip though, you could just do the 3 and it will perfectly line up with the edge of it. But I prefer to do the 4 just because I like having the lip on there, I guess. But the nice thing about adding the half wall with the platform is instead of having as you can see, just the gray concrete there, because you don't really have many other options. If you use that half wall, you can actually go to whatever house color you wanted, paint it, and then you can still paint the half wall on top, and same with the inside, so you'll get all of that too. So that can be really handy just to make it look like a smoother look. And then you can decorate the top with either one of those ladders with like maybe a little room here as if it's like a fire escape, or you can put some of the chimney tool things up here just to spruce it up a little bit, make it look more like an industrial building. But I use these platforms constantly for my community lot builds, if I'm doing a flat roof. And then depending on the look I'm going for, sometimes I do just leave it with the concrete and I won't put the half walls, but if I want it to look a little smoother, I'll put it with the half walls. With the half wall too, you can see here that there's this brown strip at the top. I did go over this before, but I'll show you quickly again. You can actually go here to the half wall trims, and you can replace that little lip with any of these. So that one wasn't much different, but say if I wanted one that was like blue, or had the glass, or had this a thicker one here that's a darker blue, you could do that just to make the top of it look a little more realistic. Or if you didn't like any of these options here, I would recommend just getting rid of the half walls altogether and putting a fence there. So on the top of the platform, you can, if I didn't have the half walls there, maybe I can delete a few pieces just to show you. I can actually grab one of these fences. I'll usually use this lower one here because once again, it's like that lip on the top of a building, and I'll just go across it like that. So then if I'm looking on either side, I still do have that lip at the top, but it is just the concrete there. And it just, I don't know, different options depending on what kind of look that you're getting. And I find that if none of the half wall trims are matching the rest of my build, I'll just usually end up sticking with this method, because you can either get it black. There's other short ones too, like one comes with Strangerville that's just kind of a little edge, or this one's from the Jungle Adventure pack where it's more of a stone edge. So you could just kind of get different ones, like if I wanted the stone edge and maybe not the concrete, but we'll try the one of these. That color does not match at all. That one might be a little bit better. And then you could have regular paint here, or you can find one of the stones in this section here, which I believe there will always be a lot of them to match. Maybe not. But you can find one of those in there. So there's just different options depending on what you're trying to build, what look you're trying to go for, that you can use either one of these. They both work. They both will give you a nice look depending, once again, on what you're trying to build. But yeah, I went over the going up and down, doing the inverted part. You can use them for porches, put them on top of each other, add stairs to them, use them for roofs. Like, platforms are very, very versatile, and they can definitely bring a little more character to a lot of your builds because, like I said, you know, just doing this little hop up here is really charming, and you can still, like, say if this was one big apartment or something, you could, I don't know, have this as a bedroom up here. I'll just put a bed there so you can see it. Click any double bed here. You can actually have this as your bedroom, and it's still totally functional. Like, your Sims can walk up here, they'll sleep there. I don't know, maybe you can put like half walls here or a fence just to like divvy it off, or you can leave it with the open look. There's a lot of different options that you can do with the platforms. They're really fun to play with, and I hope you guys can now use this information to build some fun new stuff and start getting your platforms in there to change the heights of things, just give things some more depth or some more character. But that is pretty much all I have today for this tutorial. I might as well bulldoze this just because I left all my other ones, if you look, like they're all just kind of scattered around my world now. So actually, maybe I will leave it. It'll be a reminder of this episode. But yeah, that is pretty much all I have for today's episode. So I hope you guys found this helpful. If you know anybody else that is learning how to play Sims 4, please give this video a share. I'm just trying to help people understand the game a little bit better. I'm super passionate about it, so I love getting other people into Sims. If you guys do have any other questions or any other ideas for new tutorial videos, please leave a comment down below and I will add it to my list of videos that I'm currently making. Or you could always message me on my Instagram account or Twitter. I'm Lord of Time 23 on both of those. Stay tuned for my next episode. I still have quite a few, well, not quite a few, maybe 4 or 5 more tutorial things that I just want to go over to help you guys out. So stay tuned for those. And I am going to be getting into some other builds too, some feed builds. I'm probably going to be posting a challenge that I'm going to be doing soon, where I'm going to tour all of the rooms in the challenge. I'm just waiting to get to 200 followers on Instagram. So if you want to give me a follow on there so we can get this challenge going, that would be much appreciated. And right now on Instagram as well, if you check out my story at Lord of Time 23, I am doing a build with me challenge. So what the build with me challenge is basically I've put polls on my story for how the exterior will look, what type of lot we're going to make, and then every day I'm going to kind of get a little more into it, like what the interior is going to be, so on and so forth. So you guys are making all the decisions for my build, and then I will make the finished product afterwards, and it will be something that we've all built together. So if it's something that you want to participate in, definitely check out my Instagram story and participate in the polls there. Or if you're watching this video after this build with me challenge is done, just stay tuned on Insta because I'll definitely post another one. This is my 3rd one now. But yeah, stay tuned for all the new stuff I've got coming up, guys. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Bye.